Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. So today in this video we're going to try to talk. When do I choose Make as an automation tool and when do I use n8n as a usage tool? So you should know that today, after several years, in fact in several scenarios that I created with Make, today I have made hundreds of scenarios for companies. The same with n8n, we were also able to develop several scenarios which are complex scenarios that try to improve production. So also, I even have scenarios, in fact, that are published on n8n. So today I am a validated and verified member on n8n. I wanted to give you here, what is my personal opinion on the use of Make and on the use of n8n. When do I use Make and when do I use n8n? And that, in fact, is a question I am often asked. So there are several people who ask me this question and they say, well, I am a company, I have a process that I want to automate. Do you advise me to use n8n or should I use Make? The same thing with students or participants who buy my courses. They say to me, okay, I want to invest, I want to learn automation. Should I start with Make and then move to n8n or directly start with n8n? If I have no computer knowledge, which tool should I choose? If I am, well, I have a complex scenario. What model or system should be used? So really these are choices. And I'm going to be completely transparent here. Here, though, give you a bit of my opinion. After a few years of using automation, I will give you my honest opinion on when to use Make and when to use n8n. And I will also tell you which is my favorite, which tool I prefer the most and enjoy creating scenarios with. And I will give you the good reasons for that. So just before continuing the training on YouTube, I wanted to introduce myself very quickly for those who don't know me. My name is Firas. I have a PhD in artificial intelligence and today I am an instructor on the Udemy platform. On this platform I teach courses in marketing, business and artificial intelligence. And if you go to the marketing category, you will find that I have several courses there. And I am ranked as the most popular instructor in France in these categories. You will see that I have profiles that contain the badge. Partner instructor at Udemy, and most of my courses also have the badge. Best seller. Among my accounts, on Udemy I have approximately 120,000 students who have taken my courses, and of course, we have more than 14,000 positive reviews. Today I am also a member of the n8n community, where I publish my workflows. These are workflows that I customize for companies and I share them with you for free for the purpose of learning. To thank you finally for subscribing to my YouTube channel on my website, where you will find the link here. I have gathered my popular courses that are currently available on Udemy, which are best sellers. And you simply have direct access to benefit from these courses. This is a thank you from me for your loyalty. Use this coupon to access these courses. I thank you very much and enjoy the training. To start, I would like to talk about the difference or the element that differentiates n8n from Make. And here I will go straight to the point, which is this. This is what we call an AI agent. This means that on the n8n software, we can install something called an AI agent. So an AI agent is simply an agent. We give it a goal and then provide it with some tools. And thanks to these tools, it simply has to try to use them to achieve a goal. This means we give it a certain freedom to choose, a certain freedom to fill in the variables, the information itself, to create the data itself. And this, of course, is thanks to a connection with a small brain. This means we add for this model, for this agent, a small brain that also gives it the ability to interpret, to write codes. And that we don't find today on Make. It's true that Make, in their conferences, or in the news we see on the internet, they say they are preparing an AI agent. But today, there is still no AI agent. I think that if Make adds the AI agent, it will be very, very powerful today. But right now, we have this lack of agents. And the advantage of this agent, you will see, is that it can actually make decisions. And that's something we can't do on Make, because on Make, we are on one level. In fact, as you see here, linear, that means I input the information and I set all the steps if I miss a step. And obviously, the system will not progress, and if I forget a step, the system will not invent a new step. And if I have a particular case that occurs in my scenario, in Make, the system will get stuck, however. With the AI agent, with this technology, this AI agent has the ability, of course, to make decisions even if it encounters new cases. It's a little bit, mainly, that's the feature that makes n8n a very powerful tool today, very sought after, very trendy. This means that today, most people looking to automate are seeking n8n for this feature. Just for research, for example, today, if I just take France, in terms of people searching for n8n, really, look here, it's growing, especially actually, starting from November 2024, when cloud, or rather, this company implemented even MCP systems. We will try to explain them later. The demand for n8n has increased. Here, I compare again the people trying to check out n8n and the Make site. You will see that Make has remained somewhere here actually stable. It's there in red. On the other hand, here we see that n8n, really the search, it's huge. And that, if we look just at France, if I project it, even in all the countries of the world, you will see that there too, it's the same thing. So, in relation to the countries, of course, we find that we always have this trend. Now, there is a very important point about Make. It's also what makes Make strong. That Make is also user-friendly, very easy to use. This really means for beginners, it has a very nice interface that is simple. It's not like the interface of n8n, which when you look at it for the first time, you feel like you have to be a developer to use it. But that's not true. It's true that you get used to setting up these buttons and nodes over time. But with Make, you feel that it is much simpler. And it's true. If you also look at the advantage of Maker, in terms of the applications I can integrate, of course, it is much superior to that of n8n. So, not to mention that today it exceeds 2,000 applications. Practically, it has a connection with all applications. On the other hand, with n8n, there is a small advantage that has just been launched. There is something called MCPs. So MCPs, in fact, are servers that allow for connections. And the agent is the one who will use that server. For example, the Gmail server, a calendar server, a server for multiple applications, and the agent will do the complete configuration and setup, and the full configuration of your tool, your software, without you having to perform any specific manipulation. And that too is very, very strong on n8n. It actually saves us from having to do programming. This is a brief overview of all the latest servers that have just been set up. So we see that there are many companies investing and setting up their connections, so that n8n, all of these, are the software you are currently seeing. Look, we can see Airbnb, we can see a lot of software, everything that is. AWS products, Google products. In fact, there are now more than 400 servers ready to be downloaded and used on n8n. n8n, without doing absolutely any configuration. When I say none, I mean none. That's the difference with Azure tools. Today, with Make, because with Make, we will still need to do some small configurations, and we need, as you can see here, to fill in this data. We have to, the AI agent, precisely. It's not us who fill it in. It's the agent that takes care of filling in that information. And that's actually what makes it cutting edge, or the strength of this tool. And today it's clear with this option. Look, here, it's a small button. When I click on this button, it will allow the AI model you have chosen to define the information itself. And that's something you don't find on Make. And that's actually the strength of our n8n tool, especially with the emergence of MCP models. Now we're going to talk about pricing because it's very important to take a look at the pricing. You should know that first. The difference between Make and n8n. It's open source. That means I have the ability to download it and host it or install it wherever I want. And that I can't do with Make. Because on Make, when I create scenarios, I am obviously limited to the number of active scenarios. That's if I'm on the free version. And of course, it will perform according to the operations. That means that even the scenario, when I create it, you will see that this scenario, for example, if I take one of these scenarios, for instance, the one that handles feedback, that one, I can't actually host it elsewhere. For example, I can't host it on another server on my computer. That means that somewhere I'm obliged to run it on the make.com site. If I don't do it, well, obviously I can't do it elsewhere. However, on n8n, you will see that if I take a simple interface here of n8n on n8n, all these workflows are actually hosted on an external server that is not part of the n8n company. Because if I look at n8n in terms of pricing on their official site, well, it's a bit expensive because I have to pay 24 euros per month, and on top of that, I only have 5 active workflows. If I look at Make for $9 per month, I will only have to adhere to 10,000 operations. So that's a constraint. However, for example, here you will be able to choose other hosts. I, for instance, use Hostinger, where I hosted several VPS servers for multiple companies. And there I find that I pay 699 euros. That's really a bit of an advantage. And I have a processor, 2 processors in that machine. And especially, in fact, what is very, very important, I have an unlimited number of workflows, an unlimited number actually of data and data transfer, which means operations. And that's what makes it strong actually. Because on n8n, for example, there I see that I can only execute 5 active workflows at the same time. And that's very little. I can't. In fact, if I am a professional, if I use workflows for my business, on the side, I would need multiple workflows because sometimes one workflow calls another workflow to complete a task. So as a result, I always take a server like this one. By the way, this one I actually also show you. So the installation and the pre-installed items. So that means I won't be doing the installation by copying, pasting, and installing the program. And n8n, not at all. I come here, I actually chose the number of the month. Also, here I take the opportunity to give you a coupon that I managed to get. In fact, having 2 hosting hours, so you simply enter Dr. Firas. When you click here, you will see yet another discount. And also what's very interesting on Make, okay, you have, of course, per month, actually just the possibility for free, of course, I'm talking about the free version, 2 operations, or rather 2 active workflows maximum per month. That means that here, if I come here on my Make, there you go, I will only have 2. On the official site, I will have a 14-day trial. Whereas here on Hostinger, I simply have the right to use all of this unlimitedly, and I have the right to 30 days of use. And afterwards, you can simply click on a button to actually cancel the month of use, and as a result, be refunded. And that, the 30 days, is very interesting, especially for people who are not sure about their workflow, who want to test, who want to see a little bit the efficiency, the production, and learn. As a result, it's very interesting. That's a little bit of what makes the advantage. So, as a result, once I have a reduced price, I will simply click on Continue. And afterwards, in terms of setup, it will simply ask me to select which tool you want to have. And there, I select n8n. 8n. And as a result, n8n, it is installed directly on my system, and I will actually have an interface like this where I can click. So where I will also have the possibility to see here in the settings that I have an unlimited number. So here, the license is an unlimited license. It will officially give you a registered system. And so, as a result, this is what makes it a strong point. Therefore, for choosing in terms of value for money, of course, n8n today is much more interesting as an open source because I can install it on my external servers. And here, like in the case of Hostinger, at about 6 euros, it will be a very interesting option to start development and automation in an unlimited way. Finally, the verdict. What choice should be made? Well, it's very simple. If you are a company and you want to create complex scenarios, the result is simple. You needed to have a server on n8n. And that is thanks to a server. With n8n, you will deploy a large number of systems, a large number of workflows that are operational. If you are a student, you will just do simple little scenarios that allow you to update databases, send emails, do some research. Yes, Make can be a very good solution. But in the long term, to really optimize productivity, and especially if you are someone who wants to learn automation to sell it later, because we sell the workflows we create, well, it's simple. You create an unlimited server with n8n. I will also put in the description the direct link that allows you to have a server like mine in operational mode. And it will allow you, when you click here on Manager, to give you unlimited access to all your workflows in a simple and accessible way. You also know that n8n offers a lot of templates, and don't forget that you have the possibility to create your own template. I created n8n here, a small GTS. GTS means a small agent, AI, on ChatGPT, which I will also put in the description for free. This GTS, you just need to copy it here, for example. So there you go. Your idea, quite simply, you send it, and it is actually capable of creating a file for you. JSON, which means an n8n workflow, ready to be deployed immediately. And that, what is very powerful, is a system, of course, behind it. There is a lot of programming that I have set up, and there it shows you your AA system. It certainly provides you with the deployment mode. And then it will give you, of course, some information. It will ask you what you're going to use. Gmail, what kind of information are you going to use? I can ask it to make the best decisions on my behalf, and I want it to send back my workflow. You will see that here, it will create a workflow for me, and I will simply use it on n8n without having to program or code anything. I have, of course, tried to do this on several workflows. Today, the result is enormous. We can have a huge number of workflows ready to be deployed and used. So if I go back to my ChatGPT, you will see that there you go. It is actually programming a program specifically designed for n8n. You just need to click here on copy. You will see I copy and come here. I see a new workflow. You just need to use Ctrl V on my keyboard to actually paste the system. There you go. So I have the system, of course. I make the final connection to link it with my real one. So Gmail, that's completely normal. And there I connect it. There you go. As long as my Notion database, and there you go. So here I have a system actually ready to be deployed, to be operational. Of course, here at the database level, I actually need to give it the name of the database. If I want the system to, there you go, choose the operational database so that it works. It all depends, of course, on your configuration. And actually, thanks to this system, we were simply able to work. A mode that is actually advanced, which allows me to work well. So here I click on save, and I will actually have a system that was created in a few seconds. Imagine what you can do. So to finish, I can simply give you another link as well. So here it's n8n Dr. Feras VP. This website allows you to receive my latest workflows that I have created for you for free. You can simply deploy and use them. And if you want to go a bit further, I have set up a training complete on everything related to no-code and automation with Make, with n8n, and even tools that actually allow me to create full applications and SaaS with no code. So a package or a pack where there are all possible and imaginable trainings with 100 hours of courses. I will show you right away how to access it. So you will simply access my website, drferus.yp. On this site, you will actually find a selection of 20 trainings that contain 100 hours of courses. The trainings range from beginner to expert levels. We cover everything related to automation, no-code, and artificial intelligence. I start with the basics, and gradually we will advance again. There are several workflows to work on, and there are multiple practical workshops. And above all, you will find source codes ready to be downloaded, deployed, and tested. The goal is that if you watch an hour and a half of videos per day, after 2 months, you will be able to create your own workflow and develop complex systems ready to be used in your company or even to be sold. So, to access the training here, it's very simple. You will enter your email address here. Once you enter the email address, you will also use my promo code YT20. So this is a code I provided for my YouTube community. It will obviously give you an additional discount and, of course, a 14-day guarantee. This means that after 14 days, generally if you manage to have around 20 hours, you will feel that your level has advanced, and you will, of course, handle and use workflows much more easily. So the guarantee is 14 days. If after 14 days you haven't made progress, you can simply send an email and I will refund you. So, the entirety of your payment. Once you have access to the course, you will see that, of course, it all depends on the package you chose. You will have access to the training sessions of Dr. Firas. So, all of these are my courses that are also available on Udemy, of course. But here, the price is different. It's simply a package for my community to encourage them to move forward and learn much more easily at a much lower cost. If I take, for example, one of the courses, if I click here, you will always find that I start with what we call a course support, where I provide you with access, information, workflows to download PDFs. And so all my courses are organized in this way. There are always different videos on the left. If you click, there you go. It will give you direct access to the video, where I guide you step by step to be able to solve or feed or create your workflow in a very simple and smooth way. So always at the end of the course, you will have a final practical workshop. ici here, where you will test your skills to ensure that you are indeed capable of making these creations. Here, I thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.